Hey YouTube, this is Senshi Reviews, and I am here to review the third episode of Outlander, Season 2. And I just have to say, yeah, it was a really good episode. It was a good episode, but it wasn't a very eventful episode. It had a scene that I hoped was going to be in there. It was a scene that was in Dragonfly and Amber, where Claire basically has to explain, or no, Mary Hawkins, Hawkins, I think, pretty much tells Claire has no idea how sex works, and Claire, who's pregnant and married, is like, we need to have a talk. In the book, though, here's the difference. This is an example of small changes that are fine with me. In the book, it's just Claire and Mary who has this conversation. Louise in the show is added into this as kind of a, as kind of like the person who I think, like, the third party. I personally believe the person who I think she's there to specifically represent the mind of every single reader who read that scene. Because we were all going, oh no. Now, for me, I was between Claire and, or Claire's reaction and Louise's reaction in that scene when I was, reading it and then later listening to it. I was going, oh boy, and then laughing, and then going, oh no, and going, oh my gosh, and then laughing. Louise's reaction was funny. I think Louise actually added to the scene. There are those rare instances where changes actually add to the scene instead of subtract from them. And I apologize for a glare on my camera. I'm looking at it right now and I can see this glare. I'm filming in dusk, and my wall is white, and I can't fix that. Sorry. There we go. Now I'm out of the glare. Anyway, but it was so funny. I felt bad for Mary, that poor girl. We got to see Bhutan. We got to see Bhutan. I love Bhutan. Bhutan, the little puppy, little doggy, and Bhutan looked exactly how I imagined him. I'm glad they put in the scene with Mother Hildegard. I'm not entirely sure if, as far as book timeline goes, they did cut out some stuff, but there's a lot in Paris. They do a lot of menial stuff in Paris that really did need to be cut out, or else we would be getting a longer season, but it would be a very long, boring season, and we don't need that. We don't need to have a long, boring season. We need to have a season where we at least get the plot. We need the plot, and this is the part of the story where we definitely needed the plot. And the difference between episode 3 and episode 1 is that right now we're only getting things that are in Dragonfly and Amber. In episode 1, we were getting stuff that happened or were mentioned in Voyager, and probably in Drums of Autumn too. I haven't finished Voyager yet. I'm still working on it. But I think we're not quite at the, we're not quite where we're going to start spilling into Voyager again. I'm curious to see, I really am curious to see how they start season 3 now, though, because they started season 2 with, very differently from how Dragonfly and Amber begins. So, I'm looking forward to seeing, my window's open. I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Anyway, so, let's see, what else happened? Oh yes, we're now seeing, a huge strain between Claire and Jamie at the moment in their relationship, in their marriage. And Claire is pregnant too, so that's a really bad time for the two of them to have this tension in their marriage. Where Discovery, I like watching Jamie's scenes also. I really do, like, you know, what he does during the day, because when we read the books, we get him, but like, the difference, okay, let me illustrate the difference between Dragonfly and Amber and Voyager. In Dragonfly and Amber, we do not get much in the way of Jamie's point of view at all. In Voyager, we actually get something of Jamie's point of view. So it's nice to see that translated on screen, what Jamie does during the day, because in Dragonfly and Amber, when you're reading the book, when you finally get to Claire and Jamie, and you'll understand what I'm talking about if you actually do ever read the book, and I'm saying you as audience, the plural you. Anyway, but it's interesting. It's interesting in the sense that, like, we're kind of going through Claire's menial day. At least it's menial until she starts working at the hospital. The hospital. And we get to see kind of like, because it caused tension in the book, but it caused a lot more tension in the book, actually. What was translated on screen actually was worse in the book. Like, Jamie brooded big time. It was sad. Let's see. What else do we have? What else am I thinking about? It really was a good episode. Like, I personally don't feel like there's anything to complain about, because this episode actually took the most from the books, I feel. I mean, it even had the music thing. And the music, that's the other one I wanted to do. The music with Mother Hildegard. They actually condensed that one big time, and, they condensed it because Claire, and they added the presence of Jamie. Jamie trundled away, and Claire spent the night at the, hospital / nunnery, and he didn't really see Claire until the next morning. So, and yes, you're getting book spoilers. So they condensed it and put Jamie in there as well. And then Jamie takes the notes himself and leaves with his wife, and then he translates it himself. But, I mean, that wasn't like I said, small changes that don't detract from the overall plot and the overall Outlander experience, because everybody wants to see more of Jamie. But, like, I mean, it didn't bother me because it still added to the plot. It didn't change the plot, it added to it. Because in the end, Jamie still sees it. Jamie still decodes it when he was finally given the code to decode it with. And, Claire also helps too. Like, Claire had more of a hand of going through this in the book than she did in the episode. But, I mean, it was, I personally believe, kind of the scene in where those two characters were concerned, it was evenly divided between the two. Kind of how they dealt with the entire situation and what was added and what was taken away. But, I mean, that, again, it didn't detract from the scene. Now, for some really, like, huge, it has to be like the book or else, fans, I don't really know what to say to you. Because, it's a small change. It's not a big change, and they still took what was in the book and put it in the situation that was in the book and put it in the show, and they translated it into TV, so you could still see what was going on. And that should be fine. In my personal opinion, that should be fine. I'm one of those people who are like, so long as it's from the book, if it's only from the book, I'm good. If they completely rewrite the entire book and put it on screen, then I have a problem with it. But they didn't do that with Outlander. Anyway, but it was, again, it was an uneventful episode, but it was still a good episode. Oh, and we got to meet Fergus. I was so excited. Fergus looked and sounded exactly like I thought he would. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see him grown up in Voyager. Because he grows up in Voyager. I can't wait to see that. That will be so much fun to watch. I love it. I love it. Fergus was so cute. Murtaugh had some funny lines because it's Murtaugh. And Murtaugh also kind of, he's the dad. He's the father figure for both Jamie and Claire in this episode, in this show, in this book series, really. Or at least as far as I've gotten. He's the father figure, whether you want him to be or not. And it's funny, because he does it so well. He always has something to say. And he's a one-liner character who does one-liners very well. And his one-liners are carefully put into the script or the book to have a purposeful meaning and a purpose. So yeah, I'm really excited about. I'm excited whenever I see Murtaugh on the screen because he's just. I don't know what it is about older characters. I just like them. They're so much fun to watch, and I enjoy watching them. So like, I want to see more of them. But I also don't want to see more of them because if I saw more of them, then it would actually cause an imbalance to a perfectly balanced cast of characters. I can't wait to see more of Fergus. So you do see a lot more of Fergus. For people who haven't seen the books but have watched the series progressively so far, you do see more of Fergus, and hopefully you will not be disappointed. If they stick to the books as well as they have currently, then you won't be disappointed. Fergus has a lot of really fun lines and moments. He's cute. He's a cute character. We should always have cute characters. That's about it in the episode, really, without revealing too much. And I don't want to reveal too much because, I mean, I want you to watch the episode and still be surprised. I'm just picking out some of the little things that I noticed that pertain to the books, because I'm a book reviewer, so when I watch a series that's a TV adaptation of a book, I'm going to review it. And I'm going to compare it to the books, and if you don't like me comparing it to the books, go somewhere else. Don't go here, because I compare things to the books a lot. Anyway, but, despite that, I really, really enjoyed this episode, and I really, really, really can't wait for episode 4. If episode 4 is going to cover what I think it's going to cover, wow, you guys are in for some very interesting times. And I think they're going to. I don't quite know what episode 4 is going to cover. They might pursue the Jack Randall thing. I'm not sure. But they might not if they if they slow down a little bit, because there's a chunk, they're about to hit a chunk where, of Dragonfly and Amber, where it's gonna get really, really, really eventful, and that event can actually span an entire episode. So I don't know if they're gonna slow down for that one episode and make that event that one episode, or if they're going to kind of plow through that really quickly. I kind of hope they don't, because that event really actually helps Jamie and Claire's relationship more than hinder it. So if I hope they don't montage through it, but if they do, then I definitely need to pick up more on my reading/listening to the book again on Audible so I can be up to date with what's going on. Anyway, everybody have a nice evening, and I will be giving you guys a Game of Thrones episode, or season 6, episode 1 premiere review tomorrow, probably, or tonight. We'll find out. I don't know when it's coming on. Who knows? Have a nice day.